Melody here. You might know me as Apple Pie Movement. I am a humanitarian sharing the conversations with humanity which need to be heard. Mariko, a former delegate to the Indian Peace Summit, a UN speaker and best-selling author, discusses in our talk today how love can transform the world and our spirit. So come on, grab a piece of pie and join the conversation.
I do feel that right now yoga is like confined to this fitness box,
right?
And since that experience, it through my deeper seeking, it led me to live in India at one of the universities in India.
And how did this take place? Was it through this?
No, it was through like my seeking. I wanted to know deeper, and well, after that experience, I chose to become a full-time yoga instructor, and then that I had a week. I had almost I filled my schedule up with classes and clients basically, and after I'd achieved like being a full-time yoga instructor, I thought, this feels like a treadmill now. I felt again this kind of hunger and discontent came up, and I felt I feel like a teaching machine now, and I felt like I've mastered teaching a 1-hour class or an hour and a half class, and I wanted to go deeper, and I didn't want to continue to teach without deepening my own experience. And that's when I thought, I need to stop the treadmill and I need to deepen my studies. So I looked to India, and so my first trip was about 6 weeks, which I met another great master named Sri Ravi Shankar, who is now a global leader, and I had the privilege of traveling from Bangalore to South India.
I've been to Bangalore.
Yeah, it's been like it was the most amazing way to see spiritual India, to travel with a spiritual master.
People are friendly.
And it was just like, I felt like I was led into the inside, like the underbelly of India's spiritual world, instead of looking at guidebooks and, trying to figure out myself. When you travel with a true master, it's like you almost get treated like one. And, we got to go to ashrams that are not on the map, not on the tourist map at all. And just an amazing experience. So that was my first trip. The second trip, I went for 6 months, and I stayed longer, and I studied Ashtanga Yoga and Rishikesh, and I visited all the meccas of yoga because I wanted to understand where this practice came from and the roots and the origin. And I was a seeker, I was really seeking. I went to Benares, the holy center, and after doing a lot of adventure in India, one doctor, Ayurvedic doctor that I was studying with, said, well, there's no further thing than to, actually get a degree in this medicine, just like any other Indian student would, be going to university to get a degree. That's the only path left for you if you really want to go deeper into the study. And I started to knock on university's door all over India, and they told me, well, we can accept a foreign student. There's no other foreign student in the university except would be you. In order to give you private lessons, we need, lump sum of $10,000. Like,
oh, wow.
Now. And I was like, at that point, I said, okay, I need to find like somebody to sponsor me or, get a scholarship. And I did a lot of knocking on doors. I went to New Delhi, to the government, and it was like a maze. They'd like send me to one office, and there would be, of course, the officer would be on chai break or not there, and they'd be like, go to that other office, and I go there, and they'd be on a chai break, and it was like this huge, like, epic, like, maze of this Indian government bureaucracy. But finally, I met this girl who was like studying Indian dance at a university, and I got into conversations, and she said, I'm on scholarship, and I said, how did you get the scholarship? And she said, you go to this department and Mr. So-and-so. And so she pointed me to the right department. And so through that, I was able to get funding for 5.5 years of medical degree in top university in India. And it also paid stipend, not a huge stipend, but enough for a student to subsist on. So that's how I was able to cover my, tuition, some stipend, and then I sublet my apartment in New York, and that paid for my trips. And
wow,
yeah, so that was like manifestation, and what I realized is that it was my real, like, I was always, this quest was like so deep, so also sincere, and just I was willing to like, just like leap through mountains and move mountains to just, to discover. And I think that's what allowed me to like attract this kind of, funding opportunity and things like that. And so.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for another Apple Pie Table Talk. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.